Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, a great start of the week. In today's video, guys, we're going to go over the new boss that just unlocked on Faction Wars hard mode. I am talking about the Dwarf Crypt. Now, keep in mind, this guide will help you to beat this boss for every single faction, as long as you are, of course, following the right steps, the right strategy to deal with this boss. This one, he is pretty annoying, to be honest, but as long as you can keep your champions alive, or as long as you can trick the adds or control them so they do not get to actually join in the ally attack, you shouldn't have to worry too much about it. So, this is the Tainted Protector. With the A1, he has an AoE skill that has a chance to put a True Fear for one turn. This can be pretty annoying because it happens really often. With the A2, revives all that allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter, and places a Berserk debuff on all allies for 2 turns, and also places a decreased speed on all enemies for 2 turns. With the A3, places an increased crit rate and an increased crit damage on all allies for 2 turns if at least one of the ally is alive. Then teams up with all allies to attack a single enemy if at least one of the ally is alive. If both of the allies are dead, he will put a block damage on himself. So either you're going to put a block buffs, either you're going to try to remove the block damage, either you're going to try to basically play around it, either don't kill the adds, try to stun them, because that will be one of the best form of control, or freeze them. Of course, you can use petrification as well. Then, with the first passive, the Tainted Protector counterattacks whenever an ally is attacked and heals that ally by 5% of their max HP. So he will counterattack all the time. That A1 will land fear on you all the freaking time, more or less, okay? Of course, he's immune to all of these shenanigans. You can manipulate the turn meter, but the effect is decreased by 50%. So, either you're building a champion that can either bring you a cleanse. The most important thing, preferably, is to actually bring in immunity. So if you have a block debuffs champion in the team, you should be safe with True Fear, decreased speed. You kind of like want to have that champion go first to make sure she will put the block debuffs, so then the boss won't be able to put the True Fear at all on any of your champions. If you can have that champion fast, is even better. Now, these adds actually hit pretty hard. It might not seem like they hit super hard on this stage, but trust me, once you're gonna get to stage 21 and you're gonna have this boss, it will definitely feel much tougher, because even on normal Faction Wars, this boss with the ally attack and the adds hit pretty damn hard, okay? So that would be one of the main things. Having the immunity or a cleanse if you don't have somebody to bring you block debuffs. For example, I don't have anyone in my team that will do that. And then, starting it with a shield is gonna be great, because the boss will not remove buffs or anything like that, and you can soak in one of the first hits, the ally attacks. Then, of course, if you can use block damage, or shield again, increase defense, strengthen. Ally protection, not necessarily the best thing, because that champion might actually die, but as long as you have a reviver in the team, that should be fine. Or, as I've mentioned initially, try to bring in crowd control champions that will be able to control the adds, the side minions. You don't have to worry about the boss as much then, because if the adds are stunned or frozen, they will not be able to join in the ally attack. So only the boss will actually deal damage, and that's not that crazy, to be honest with you guys. So for this video, we're gonna use this team that you see right here on the screen. We're going to use Geomancer. Geomancer will help us with a passive to manipulate turn meter, and in case if we need to remove the block damage from the boss, he's going to be able to do that with the A2. Plus, we're going to have decreased accuracy, which will give us a bit of an advantage if we land the debuff on the boss, because my champions might get resisted when he attempts to put the fear on them, right? Then we're going to have Footboard the Bard. He is on a stun set for me. He does have a stun on the A2, but mainly for this AoE defense down, okay? That's basically the priority. Then, heal reduction if we are struggling with the adds, but to be honest, this shouldn't really be a big problem, and it is not really helping a lot, at least not on this low stage. Maybe on the very high stages, if we're struggling to kill the side adds or keep them controlled and they're constantly getting healed, Heal reduction might be helpful, but it's not something that I'm counting on. We're gonna use Morag. She's kind of like the main damage dealer for me. I do have a 6-star crushing rend on her, which actually will deal a lot of damage. This skill is pretty good. This is really good as well. Overall, she's a very, very good damage dealer. Then we are going to use Demita. She's going to be my main healer. She will decrease the duration of debuffs. And of course, put block damage and more healing with the A3 in case if we need it. And we're going to use Gala Long Braids, another amazing damage dealer. If you don't have some of the crazy legendaries, mythicals for this faction, guys, and you're looking to absolutely demolish the boss, Gala Long Braids and Morag will get the job done without a problem. Now, this faction does suffer a little bit because we don't really have a lot of champions that can cleanse, put block debuffs. Yes, you have Brogni that can do that, of course. He was a fusion at some point in the past. I can't really remember. Time is just flying, probably 3-4 years ago. Then you have, of course, Runekeeper that can actually cleanse with this skill right here. Pretty good as well. As a reviver, we have Molly Tankard. We're not going to use a reviver. We're going to see if we can do it without it. We have, of course, Melga. I can't really see where she is. There we go. She gives us a shield. This can actually work really well versus this boss because we're constantly going to keep up that shield. So even when the boss does the ally attack, we might actually survive. Now, as I've mentioned, stage 7 is not as difficult, but I'm convinced that on higher stages, the ally attack will absolutely hurt everyone, including teams that have a shield. And for block debuffs, we have Grizzle Jarl, but it's only for 1 turn. Really not worth it, to be honest. I feel like we can definitely play around in better ways. So that's what we have, at least from the champions that I have available. I'm going to use Geomancer's lead. Keep in mind, you got to finish this in 100 turns, right? And this will be the same on every single stage. So we're going to do that. I'm actually just going to see if I can take her down. Beautiful. Gala Longbraids is not even on Savage for me. And then we have Morag. She is on Savage, which is absolutely demolishing the waves at the moment. I'm going to try to stun him because he's the one that brings the cleanse. He's the main threat, the healing. Then I'm going to try to take her down if we can. Not enough firepower in that skill, so we're going to go with the A1. That's mainly because, of course, we did not have increased attack. So I'm going to try to take Lissandra down with the ally attack. Unfortunately, we failed. Okay, usually I don't have this issue, but it seems like it happened now. So that's fine. I'm going to let them use their skills so you guys can see pretty much everything that is happening in here. We do want to take down that reviver. So we're going to go A1 on her. And then when she revives, we're going to try to take her down again. Usually when I'm using that ally attack from Morag, I'm just absolutely demolishing them. So I could use this to basically drop the debuff on, you see. So they're getting a lot of healing. It's not necessarily a big problem because I should be able to smash the boss, even though I'm not going in there with a million turns left, right? So I'm probably going to take her down. And then I'm probably going to look to take him down so he stops all that freaking healing. I'm going to go with the A1, actually. So he's down. He's back, so we're going to try to get him down again. And A1 from Geomancer here. I'm not going to use the stun. Instead, I'm just going to go with A1. Okay. A1 again. This is taking a bit longer. Of course, having Morag's skill on a no cooldown is really helpful. So when that happens, is actually great. But unfortunately, we failed to get that extra turn because we failed to kill Lissandra. So we have the block active skills. Not a problem because we're going to kill this and we're going to go to the boss. We have 56 turns. I think they're plenty to get the job done. So look, when I'm using an attack, the boss is going to counterattack. You see, bang, fear. We got resisted on some of them. I'm going to drop the Terminator on the boss. The main reason, my champions are not very fast, okay? I actually built the meta to be the slowest to try and put the block damage before the ally attack. The ads will still attack me though. So I'm going to try to go and hit one of the ads. The fear proc, you see. The ads attacked me. I'm going to go with Morag's AoE right here. Do a bit of damage. And now we can actually put the block damage. The boss will use the ally attack. You can see I'm going to try to stun one of them. So I'm going to stun Zargala. Okay, and the boss should use the ally attack. Okay, seems like he did not use the ally attack for whatever reason. I'm curious if it's because he knows that I have that block damage on. Because he should be using it. Or maybe actually was still a counterattack. That's why. So he did not actually take a turn yet. There we go. That's the ally attack. I was actually looking like, what the heck just happened there, right? But that's what happened. So I'm going to go for the boss now. If you kill the boss while the ads are alive, you still win the fight, right? 3-starred without a problem. Because the main thing you got to kill is the boss. So you see, we stun them both. They can't really do that much once they're stunned. So I feel like that's one of the best ways to deal with this. So I'm going to decrease the duration of debuffs. I'm going to drop the thermometer on the boss once again if we can. Even though it's not 100%, we're still going to do it. That heal reduction, as I mentioned, I don't think is going to be important at all. Even on higher stages, to be honest. And just like that, bang. So out of all of the 3 bosses, I can say that this is probably the easiest one, okay? He's not removing your buffs. He's not doing anything too crazy, okay? And if you can use the Demeter for block damage is great. On this low stage, you don't necessarily have to. A shield set would actually get the job done, or a different champion that can buff and put a shield before the boss takes a turn. Once again, that champion that will cleanse, put immunity, or decrease the duration of debuffs, or do something that's very important like buff with block damage or crazy stuff like that, should have higher resistance. So I'm quickly going to try to find the meta. I actually have her on a shield set, and I have her on a fortitude set. So basically, I just have higher resistance on her. I have 500 resistance, but she is pretty slow. She actually has HP boots, HP here, HP there. So I have a few substats on resistance. I got a piece of protection, which gives me 20 resistance. I got a piece of supersonic, which gives me 20 resistance. So all of that adds up. No masteries on her, no relic on her either. And as a blessing, I do have cruelty, but that is basically not giving me more resistance because it's only a 4-star, right? Then Geomancer, he's built on reflex. This is my build that I'm using for the Iron Twins Fortress and other general content where I'm using him. I'm not using him in Hydra, Chimera, or anything like that. He does have a 6-star Cruelty Blessing, which is actually really, really helpful overall in all of the game, not just for Faction Wars. Speed, accuracy, some survivability. Of course, I do have masteries on the champion. War Master as tier 6, support, and no relic, blessing, as I've mentioned, cruelty. Fobdor the Bard is a champion that I'm using very often in the Cursiri. And I'm using him in Sintrano, so I need him to be pretty fast. I think he's gonna be just great for when we reach the high stages of Faction Wars, because the bosses, the enemies tend to become pretty damn fast, right? So stun, a perception, a couple of refresh accessories to try and use that A3 more often. I don't have full crit rate on him. I think I have crit rate gloves if I remember it correctly. I haven't ascended the gear or anything like that. Most likely for the high stages, I might have to do it. No relic. As a blessing, he has cruelty as well, and seems like he's a 6-star too. So I have way too much cruelty on this team, but that's not the point because these champions are being used in so many different areas. And masteries, I have fearsome presence on him, and I still went with the offense tree because every little helps in terms of damage. Okay, I could have went with a support, but that's fine as well. Then moving on to Gala Longbraids, speed and a fatal set, guys. Yeah, she would be much better in Savage, to be honest, but this does the job as well. Like, most likely, I'm not necessarily looking to use her on the super high stages because I have much better champions to get the job done. But as you guys probably noticed, her damage is really not bad. I think I might have a relic. I have the Draught of Ire on her, not leveled up or anything like that. So it just gives me 5% more damage, and bosses deal 5% less damage to the wearer because of the gemstone. Crushing Grand, this is a 4-star only, so it's not really doing much, to be honest. I'm not even sure why I have Crushing Grand on her, but so be it. No masteries. Morag, once again, is a champion that I'm using very, very often in the Curse City. So she does have a pretty decent build. Savage and speed. These are her total stats. So 6.9k defense, 212 speed, full crit, 298 crit damage. 6-star crushing rend, that helps a lot as well. No relic. Very good damage from this champion overall. Helm Smasher as tier 6. And she's my main champion that literally dumps on Taras and Marichka in Sintrenos, okay? So she's absolutely demolishing all of those stages. And yeah, solid champion. And you've seen the meta already, right? As I've mentioned, this will work for every other faction, okay? It doesn't matter if we're talking about Bannerlord, Sacred Order, or whatever other faction might have this boss. The main thing is to focus on the right things. Stun the ads, freeze the ads, they won't join the ally attack. Have an immunity, the fear won't land on you. Be ready in case if you kill both of the ads to remove the block damage or put a block buffs on the boss, so that doesn't keep you in there for a full rotation, which is 6-7 turns, depending on how fast are your champions. If you're manipulating turn meter and stuff like that, that can actually affect your 3-starring condition, right? Because you got to do it in 100 turns. But other than that, out of the 3 bosses that we've encountered so far, I think this is the easiest. Let me know in the comments down below, what team are you guys using for this? How are you finding the bosses so far? And as usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.